Oh, goody, 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 goody. Here we go again. Another week. Good morning. I'm Rayford Brown.
I'm Kelly Knapp.
I'm Lee Barrows.
And we all sounded so excited
I know.
to have another week right on our doorstep here. And if I can find the armrest so I don't fall out of the chair, I'll be okay.
Boy, after last week, I'm ready for a new week.
Well, yeah, last week was kind of a sloppy little mess. Today, you can't see whether there's a sloppy little mess out there or not because it's
No.
too foggy.
I couldn't see 1,000 feet in front of me all the way here.
It's got low hanging clouds out there. We call it fog. So that's what's happening in this area. We'll talk more about that and the rest of the weather stuff as we go through the morning. Uh, First of all, ladies, how was your weekend?
Mine was good.
Yeah, not bad.
Mine was good.
Good
Had
and not bad.
family.
Nothing sounds very exciting.
I had a get together for my granddaughter's Saturday.
Everybody's in mourning.
I was like, I'll never see you again. You'll never be over here and spend a weekend again.
Oh my Lord, she's not moving to the moon.
She's like, yes, I will, Grandma. I won't see her in a long time. I go up there,
Where's she going?
Appalachian.
Oh, yeah, she's on the other side of the
Good
world.
place to go.
Well, it's okay. I've already planned on renting an Airbnb about October, November for a couple of days.
October and November for a couple
No,
days.
somewhere
during
in
that time.
those for a
Well,
couple of
I
days.
would suggest somewhere around the 15th of October.
Well,
And
I
take
know,
your camera.
yes, and
That's
that's what.
when the leaves are changing.
So I need to book something now because I'm
Uh-huh,
sure a
probably
lot of,
yesterday.
it's
you
probably
should.
yeah, it's probably too late.
Yeah, well, yeah. There's Saigon Sam's. I got some shelter hats.
I'm not tinting it. Nope.
So okay, we got rid of that thing from last week. That Debbie Downer
Yes.
that had us all wet. And my goodness gracious, it just the gift that just won't go away. Just keeps on giving.
Right.
No real thunderstorms, serious ones right here, but we did have some that skirted us yesterday and drove my little neighbor's doggie up a wall because she was over here and she does not get along very well. She doesn't get along at all with loud booms, and so it was crossing through the neighborhood. So she got all excited. So she had to get up from my lap. I had to hold on to her, wrap her up.
Aww.
She was fine then,
Okay.
especially when I
Good.
started singing to her. She put
Oh
she
Lord.
put her paws over her ears. So
I
she couldn't
guarantee
hear
you
it.
she did. Yes.
Well, whatever. No, I turned the TV up, so wasn't even watching TV. So I put my computer down, turned the TV on, turned the TV up a little bit louder than the outside ambient noise, and we were good to go.
Good. Yeah, there's a lot of little animals or big animals too that the storms just make them so nervous.
Sure. Yeah, it makes
It's
me
just-
nervous too, especially if there's any lightning that I'm watching with it. And this new radar thing that I've got. Oh, yeah, it's over there on that other monitor over there. I'm blocked by the fan here, but see all those flashes? That's lightning all
Yeah,
Yeah,
over
that's
everywhere.
very cool.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to watch that radar.
Mhm.
And you know, since I hooked up my weather station last Wednesday, I have shown 205 lightning strikes within a certain mile radius.
Most of the lightning that you'll get, and most of what that is over there that we're looking at, is going to be cloud to cloud lightning,
Right.
which is, that doesn't impact us. It just looks cool. And sometimes what's really cool looking is to see cloud to cloud lightning when you're down below and it's actually above the clouds and you see it kind of like through the clouds, lighting up the clouds from behind.
Well, what's
That's
frightening?
interesting.
What's frightening is you're on an airplane and you see that.
Tell the pilot to fly a little bit higher.
That's frightening.
I've been on an airplane struck by lightning before.
Really?
It was interesting.
Did it make your hair curl?
It just freaked a lot of people. Turn the power off. You know how that go. You know the lights went off. And
Mhm.
yeah.
No. Well, glad the rest of the plane didn't shut down.
No, it did not. It was freaky. People acting a fool, but it was all good.
Okay, last week people were talking about the formation, the possible, the potential, the likely, and now it is going to happen of a system. Potential tropical cyclone 5 is not going to impact pretty much anybody or anything, maybe with a little water, some wind, but very little wind, somewhere along the outer band of islands, shall we call it that. Lesser Antilles, the Greater Antilles, and the Leeward Islands. Doesn't look like it's going to have too much of anything. So it's coming out of about 2/3 of the way between Africa and the Lesser Antilles, the Windward Islands, and it's going to turn. This one, the projected path of this one is looking a whole lot like a lot of the storms that we had last season.
Yeah, I
They were
remember
all
that.
coming
yes.
towards us, and they kind of took a right turn and went north, and then northeastward. Going northeastward, they take a take a bead on Ireland, and they don't get there. They die en route. It's the IRA that does it, right?
Sounds good to me. Whatever it takes.
You didn't even hear what I said.
I heard you say it. I wasn't gonna say anything.
Uh-huh. So anyway, the Irish Army out there, they shoot those things down and put it into it before they get there.
Maybe that's
Regular
what we
or
need.
IRA? Two different things.
The regular,
Oh, yeah.
the IRA just sits out there and smokes and has a good time while they're doing it,
Yeah, sometimes.
while they're expending it, all of their ammo.
Hmm.
IRA is just stockpiling, right?
I was just reading about an Irish swimmer got put in the hospital. He was Olympic gold medal because he
Uh-huh.
swam the river in France
Yeah.
too. He's now in the hospital.
Uh-huh.
What's in that river?
Bacteria.
Apparently more than bacteria, but yeah, that's kind of gross. But anyway, that's what I was reading about.
Hey,
So,
well, congratulations to the United States. They racked up 126 medals,
kicked,
the most out
yeah,
of everybody.
kicked butt and took names.
Yeah,
a lot of gold medals.
They tied with China 40 each.
Mhm.
At the last minute, China got that. But yeah, United States had 40, China 40, Japan was 20, Australia was 18. So we racked them up.
That's good. Let them go. Let 'em go.
126. The China only had 91 total. I say that only
That's-
91. We had
That's a-
126.
That's rather substantial.
Yes, yes. So a lot of
Um,
controversy here and there, but they have that every time they have the Olympics.
yeah.
Some of these folks that didn't quite make their height in the pole vaulting, and
Mhm.
there was something else. There was another one that was disqualified afterwards, had the bronze taken away. There's
Yeah.
just little things here and there.
Yeah, but they're still now they're disputing that, and the U.S. is claiming they've got evidence to prove she deserves a bronze. So
Right.
Yeah, they said they got some video evidence.
yeah,
I
that's
don't
what
know
they
it
claim.
is yet.
Yeah.
There's some crazy. There's some definite crazy.
Well,
2028 comes to LA, so you think Paris was crazy? Wait for that.
oh, good gracious.
I'm going to try to get tickets to the LA one.
Why?
I like the Olympics.
I like the
But is it
Winter
LA?
Olympics. I'm not a
I used
fan
to
of
live near
the
there.
summer,
Yeah.
but I do love the Winter Olympics.
They're going
See, I'm the
to
opposite.
have those in LA too. The
No,
Winter Olympics.
no, the Winter Olympics is the next one. I don't
They
know.
got to go where there's snow.
Yeah. Mhm.
They have to go where it's cold.
All right, let's take a kind of a quick recap, politically speaking, of last week.
Okay.
Bashing.
Been a lot of that.
Yeah, it was a heap of bashing on all sides. There's some clips all over the place, and this is going to be a short thing. This is my personal views on this. May come up later. These are just the headlines kind of stuff, right?
Right.
Democrat nominee Harris VP choice. He's catching a lot of attention. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz heard more about what some congressmen are now complaining about, what they and other folks are calling Walz's stolen valor. You'll recall that in his bio, he said he retired from the National Guard in 2005 as a command sergeant major. After he actually retired, that was changed on his record, as while he acted as command sergeant major in the absence of someone with that rank, he abruptly retired before he completed the promotions process, leaving him a master sergeant. Okay, so that was one of the deals. Another complaint started with a Republican VP nominee, Senator J.D. Vance, a Marine veteran serving as a public affairs officer deployed to Afghanistan, who challenged Walz's reported claim that he was opposed to civilians being able to own the same type of gun he carried in combat. Walz was never deployed to a combat zone. Therefore, he never carried any kind of gun in combat. A 2010 news clip showing Walz agreeing with an independent candidate at a debate calling to raise the age for Social Security benefits was met with later reports where Walz voted 3 times to oppose efforts to raise the age to get the benefits. You say one thing, you mean it at the time, then you get elected, then you say something else and you do something else. So I guess you didn't mean it, but you do mean it, but now you mean it really. Yes, he did apparently agree
What?
with the other candidate during the debate, but his later votes indicated he either had a change of heart or he never actually believed what he was saying. Then, more recently, reports suggesting that as Minnesota's governor, Walz commended the Islamic terrorist group Hamas
Mm.
for the attacks against innocent Israelis on October 7th. His administration has awarded $100,000 to a Muslim cleric who praised Adolf Hitler online and who has used his Facebook page to share official Hamas press releases, blog posts from anti Semitic sites, and a 2015 link to a pro Hitler film, The Greatest Story Never Told.
Mhm.
Federal prosecutors have claimed the cleric's group, the Muslim American Society, is founded as the overt arm of the Muslim Brotherhood in the United States. It's the same organization that was designated a terrorist group by the United Arab Emirates 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Others criticize lengthy, 35 years worth relationship with China. Today, with China labeled one of the bad guys across much of the U.S. and is one of the 4 countries we fear, a personal, friendly relationship with them will not sit too well with a lot of people. Walz taught various subjects in China during his several dozen trips there dating back to the 1980s. He has stated that he doesn't think the U.S. needs to have an adversarial relationship with the commies that rule the country. If nothing else, Harris' choice of Walz is probably a smart move. He's the perfect smokescreen, keeping the eyes of the media and the nation focused on him. He's not running for office. Harris is running for office. By those who have worked with and around her, she is not a good choice when it comes to public appearances and news conferences. She's not good in front of a camera. Hiding behind walls is the perfect plan. No one, not one American person that I know of, will actually vote for or against Tim Walz. They're not going to vote for him. They're not going to vote against him. The VP candidates do not determine who will win. That was proven again when Biden chose Harris. In spite of Harris, he won. While she was doing well initially in the polls when she ran in 2020 for president, she dropped out and graciously accepted Biden's invitation. Since the election, she has done pretty much nothing. As a presidential candidate again, her persona is hidden. She has not scheduled not one news conference so she can meet the press head on. She's afraid of the media. She cannot handle that job without falling apart. Walz is taking all the heat, and she continues getting money and likely votes. Remember, the longer she can stay out of the public's eye, with early voting right around the corner, the more votes she can get before people actually see the light. It's a strategy that just might work for her. It's not a bad strategy. Not a lot about Trump or Vance during the weekend, except Trump's plane having a little trouble on the way to Wyoming.
Yeah.
Had mechanical issues. Had to land at a different airport, got aboard another private jet, and made it into Bozeman about 90 minutes later than scheduled. This was his first outdoor rally since he was shot 4 weeks ago. What did y'all think about? Did you pay any attention to the political
I did.
mess this weekend?
I watched some of the rallies, both sides. I watched some of the rhetoric. It's surprising to me that some of the things that Trump has been talking about, what he wants to do, now Kamala is going behind him, repeating the same thing.
Yeah, I want to secure the
So
border.
oh, she says she wants to make sure the border is secure, but she does not want to keep people out that come across and want to come into the United States legally.
Well, I don't. That's just what
That
kind of
doesn't make
statement
any
is that?
sense
No,
whatsoever.
because
That was a Kamala.
what are they being
Kamala
forced
statement.
across the border? They're all coming because they want to come.
That
I
was
mean,
a Kamala statement, and like some of her other rhetoric. But yeah, where Trump was talking, and he started talking about this way back about servers who get tips and having to be taxed on their tips, and he was talking about he was going to put an end to that, which I agree. It's their tips. It's their tips. It shouldn't be taxed. But Kamala now got endorsed by some culinary institute, Nebraska, Arkansas, somewhere. And so now all of a sudden she's come out, heard it with my own ears saying that, oh, yeah, and I'm going to put an end to taxing tips. And I'm like,
Okay, in
could you find
reality-
your own platform? Really?
In reality, how much cash tips do you think are reported?
Well, I think it depends on the restaurant.
No, cash tips
Once
Not-
left
again,
on the table.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend that serves, and they are. I mean, I get if they get caught not putting them in this little tip jar. I call it a jar. I don't know what it is.
You
if
mean, but they put that in there to share among everybody, right?
Yes, and
Okay,
if they
different
will.
story.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it depends.
Well, I
Right,
think
different.
if somebody's serving our table and it's just one server altogether, and we've got a large group and she's really doing, or he or she's doing an excellent job, that tip goes to her.
Okay.
You
And, right.
according to you,
Yes.
it may not be according to
Well,
the
I know
restaurant.
that restaurants are different,
And
but most of my people that I mean,
Isn't that kind of like socialism?
when I've ever asked, they said it goes to them.
Well, we'll pay the meal by card and tip in cash and
Yes.
tell them, and I'll literally say, "So, well, Robin,
Well,
put this in your pocket right here now,"
Yeah.
because I know how some of them
I've
do.
done that
well,
before.
there's a reason for that too, because the restaurants lose money if you
Mhm.
pay the tip on the card, and they give the entire tip to the
Right.
server because they have to pay their 3.5%.
Well, a lot of them won't give the entire tip
I
to
know
the server.
That's
Yeah,
what they will take out their 3.5%.
yeah, and
Right.
sometimes even more. Like I said,
you don't
yeah,
know what they take out.
yeah. So-
Sharing it among the other folks, though, you've got the people back in the kitchen, you got the bus boys,
Yeah, but the people in the
You got
kitchen
the
aren't making
hostess.
$2.13 an hour.
you got the hostess.
Once again, she's not making $2.13 an hour
I
either.
don't know what they're making.
Most of them get paid the minimum wage. It's the servers, the actual server, that's getting the $2.13 an hour.
Mhm.
So, and I'm
Well,
a
you
good
know,
tipper.
I
Very
am
good tipper.
too. I'm an
very well.
exceptional tipper, but
Mhm.
that's just like if you ever get a waiter or a waitress that you just were really impressed by their people skills.
Mhm.
Oh, I like
and
that.
and yes, and plus the fact that you learn a little bit about them, and you're like really impressed that they're doing what they're doing for the reason they're doing it for. I'll tip them well.
I
So how
always tip
about,
well.
let me ask you this one then before we do some weather. Suppose you've got a great server. I mean,
Mhm.
he or she, they're bending over backwards. They got your water there. They're making sure your
Right.
drinks are refreshed. All of that. They got the stuff here.
Right.
Everything's good, nice, and the meal sucks.
It's not the server's fault.
I know, but what
No.
do?
I tip the server.
Yeah, I still tip the
I do
server
too.
for the service.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
the server didn't make that food.
And I have found that, it's a hit and miss anymore. You can go out one night to a restaurant and get an excellent meal, go back a week later to the same restaurant and it sucks. It's a hit and miss with a lot of them, but
Well, I got two places I go to that don't suck. I never have. I've been to them a lot.
yeah.
So I
One of them in the Swansboro area.
both of them are in the
Yeah.
Swansboro
There
area.
you go.
I do that a lot. And so anyway, we're gonna be there again this week. Any special event, any excuse that we can use, we go. So
Yes.
that's good. So
Oh, that's right. I know that special event.
Mhm.
Yes.
today's severe weather tip sponsored by John Stars Electric right here in Jacksonville. In the immediate Onslow County area, we escaped most of the wrath of the most recent tropical storm.
Yay.
Rainfall was spotty. Some areas may have gotten 6 inches or more. Others, including the studio, had less than 3 inches. How about that? 3 inches total here.
You
Wind was manageable, not much of it. The threats, the messages of what ifs, all kept us on our toes, though. No serious to report that I've seen in Onslow County. Other locations had 8 to 10 inches local, and I think I saw one or two that had in the double digits, like in the teens, in our not too far from here. Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. Amazing that power outages were kept to a minimum. Lucky that the crews from both our local providers were able to stay ahead of the outages. The luck part of that equation was that the winds were low enough, they weren't strong enough to keep the crews from responding immediately as they have to do when a hurricane here, when the winds hit 45 or whatever it is miles per hour, they have to stay inside. They cannot put the buckets up in the air. They can't climb the poles. They can't do any of that kind of stuff. I really wouldn't want to be up there in those poles trying to fix a line anyway when the lightning is popping to the left and to the right of me.
Mm.
Not a good plan. This is not always going to be the case. Future storms this year, maybe not for a couple of years down the road, will leave us wishing we had used Debbie as a warning and incentive to take steps to make sure that there might be a future. Okay, did you find any warnings that out there? Did you see any warnings? Did you have any situations occur that you said, well, maybe I need to take some precautions next time around?
Not this go
There
round.
were not enough warnings out there, were there? Just the fear of whatever was going to possibly come down. How about a small leak in the ceiling? You have anything like that?
No.
You're lucky. Maybe blowing rains coming in the places they shouldn't have blown in. So you're lucky there too.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
Imagine the next time and all those times in the future that you could cook, take a hot water, run to the store to get some ice cream, some comfort food, a hamburger. What would you be doing when the power was not working? Your freezers and refrigerators losing their cool, no TV, no internet, and a limited amount of time on your cell phones because they can't keep recharging the battery. Now is the time to at least start shoring up some of those weak spots in your severe weather plan. Food, water, and a safe shelter come first. Many times, without power, we sat around and talked or read by the light from a flashlight or candle, or what we call today a kerosene hurricane lamp. That's the way we used to do it. The worst of most storms is gone within a day. The misery can linger for a long time. One thing that can make you more comfortable during a severe storm is having electricity. While those portable generators, if you know how to use them right and safely, can work well on a limited basis during and after a severe storm. A much better idea would be to reach out to John Stars Electric for an estimate for a turnkey and worry-free installation of a Generac standby generator. With units that can handle your basic needs to a power plant that can keep you in full power during and after a major weather event, John Stars Electric can handle everything. It's a one stop shopping deal with the Stars team. You and I both know that you have been considering a standby generator for quite a while, just as I had been up until last year. Last year was my year. Now is not the time to put it off any longer. There is a period of time from the minute you sign the contract until you're up and running. It takes a little bit of time. It requires permitting, meetings with the power company, making arrangements with your choice of a propane gas supplier, but it will go a lot faster when one person handles everything. John Stars Electric. For a peace of mind, give them a call at 910 989 1908. 910 989 1908. You're live and local Real Talk. We'll be right back. Today's morning weather forecast brought to you by Community Prevention Services. You've heard us talk about one of the deadliest problems we have across this country. We've talked about it a lot, and I talked with Kelly about it quite a bit. It's not car wrecks, it's not murders, it's not boating disasters, not even tornadoes or hurricanes or landslides or mudslides, wildfires. The 3.5 years of a World War II, saw an average of fewer deaths each year of Americans than the number of Americans who die from various opioid overdoses every year. Is that scary?
Yes.
More
It
than
is.
111,000 people in 12 months ending the 1st of July this year.
Mhm.
So many people who were prescribed pain pills as a matter of routine when they went to see their doctors, their dentists, and even pain management clinics got a rude awakening a few years back when the clamor for more controls on getting pain meds made it more difficult for patients who had become dependent on those happy pills to satisfy what they quickly found out was an addiction.
Mhm.
Might not have been a physical addiction, but a psychological addiction can be just as bad. Thank goodness that big pharma cartel is still pushing opioids, including the cheap, powerful ones, products that don't require prescription. What may have started as a psychological dependency has become a full blown epidemic. What the legitimate pharmaceutical companies provided were nothing like the pills that look exactly like the ones you find in our pharmacies, laced with fentanyl, available everywhere, even when that's not what you're looking for. In addition to being lethal, there's the side effects. Paranoia is one. And that's not something that you can shake by yourself as long as the need for drugs is still there. That's where Community Prevention Services comes into play. The staff of trained, experienced, and just as importantly, caring staff of counselors are available for you, a friend, a member of your family. They're not judgmental, and whatever you tell them stays with them. The counselors will work with you to develop a treatment plan, not like treatment plans that involve taking pills. Taking drugs to subdue your need for drugs is kind of counterproductive. Community Prevention Service is not a chain operation. It's locally owned, locally operated. Give them a call for an appointment, 910-353-0972. You'll be happy that you did. Offshore today, westerly winds 5 to 10 knots. That's not a wind, that's a breeze. Becoming southwesterly this afternoon, seas 2 to 3 feet, 3-foot waves every 8 seconds. Not a bad day after the past 10 days. Sounds and rivers a light chop, diminishing to flat this afternoon. Another word of caution from one boater to y'all. Those rivers are going to be full of debris. The ocean is going to have a lot of that debris where the high tide takes that stuff and takes it offshore. After a hurricane some years ago, 2 weeks later, I was out 23 miles.
Wow.
There was debris from on shore that had washed out there. It had gathered
Oh
in a
no,
location.
it's sad. Very sad.
They got caught up
Hmm.
in a tidal line. And that's the way it was. Wow, wow, wow. Northeasterly winds tomorrow around 10 knots, seas 2 to 3 feet, sounds and rivers a light chop. Wednesday, northeasterly winds around 10 knots, seas again 2 to 3 feet, sounds and rivers a light chop then as well.
Today, showers and thunderstorms are likely, but mainly after 2 p.m. And there is patchy fog currently out there till right around 9 a.m. In between all that, partly sunny, high of 86, with a 60% chance of the showers and thunderstorms, up to an inch possible today. Tonight, more of the same, showers and thunderstorms likely, mainly before 10. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, low of 71. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high of 86. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low of 68. And on Wednesday, mostly sunny, high of 85.
Pretty
no
good
rain.
week. Pretty good week.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good start to the week. And
Looks-
I'll let
hoping
you know
we do.
how the week's going to go if I can get the yard mowed.
Well, yeah.
It's pretty thick.
We mowed ours yesterday.
Did
you.
you? I wanted to, but it was
You
so
should have gotten the
wet.
goats. This would have been a perfect time to get your goats.
I know. I agree with that. I got to
Okay.
get the alpaca first.
Okay, guys, again, let me tell you how you can talk with us today. Our phone lines are working, but the phone system is dead. It's internal to the place here. We're waiting for a couple of essential parts, shall we call them,
Yes.
to be returned. They were shipped out, and they are, or last I heard, they were still in Nashville, and they're being repaired. That's the only shop on the
Oh.
eastern part of the.
I thought you said they went to California,
Well, they were supposed. That's where the home company is, but
Oh,
they're the
Nashville.
home companies sent me redirected me to send them to Nashville. So
Yeah, we
that's where
might
I
get
sent
them back then. Yay.
Well, hopefully the good old boys of the South will take care of me.
yes,
That
good
will be the
old
good
boys
thing.
of the South. Yes.
So anyway, those interface boxes that tie the telephone line to our audio console over here, which gets it on the air, they're dead. They were dead. The lines are working. We've got the basic equipment installed. All we're having to do now is wait for the things to come back in to plug and play, and hopefully they'll all be working just fine when I do that. Meanwhile,
Shooey.
Lee C. Barrows at gmail.com. Lee, Leec is in cucumber.
Cute.
Lee Cute Barrows. Boy, she tooting her own horn here or what?
No,
At
just
gmail.com.
anything but Charlie.
Or what's wrong with Charlie? You don't like Charlie? I know. And then you can also send anything to our Facebook Messenger page. If you want to put it out there publicly, you can do that on our comment sections, but I wouldn't do it. Too many weird people out there.
There's some weird ones.
And I just put it up on send us a message, and one of us, one of them, will look at it and give me the telephone number. That's what you need to include, and your name, and I will place the call to you. It'll come to you. It could come to you as a telephone number. That'll be interesting. We tried it. It was working. It could come to you as restricted. It could come to you from the UK or Russia or Ireland.
That
or
got us in
wherever.
trouble
We
with
don't
a
know.
U.S. congressman.
Senator. Yeah.
Senator, I'm sorry. Senator, I knew
Anyway.
that.
You can do that, and
Yes.
we will be happy to chat with you today until further notice. Give us a ringy dingy if you like that way.
I got a question for you.
7 is the answer.
It's not the answer.
Ooh, it's a
You've
long
had
question.
x-rays, right?
I've had a bunch of x-rays.
Okay.
I've got x-ray vision too.
Okay. Well,
X-rated vision.
that I agree with. Have you ever been given a questionnaire or asked a series of questions before your x-rays?
Probably.
Have you been asked if you were pregnant?
Yes.
Yes.
That's a new guidance.
Really?
In
I was. I mean, it was on the form that I had to fill out. Or
no,
Yeah.
verbally asked.
I'm sure
Not
I was.
verbally, but
Okay, no, verbally asked.
I always answered.
Well, the National
Where's that
Health.
beat come
I don't
from?
know. I heard it too. Oh no, it's not me because I got my article pulled up here. In Britain, the National Health Service. It's this because it's sitting on that. Yeah, it's my article. So now they have a new guidance. Men, well, obviously women, but also men have between the ages of 12 and 55 at certain hospitals have to be asked if they are pregnant before they get a CT or a X-ray. And it has, but some people have gotten upset. Some women have been in tears, women that have had like can't get pregnant or have had to have miscarriages or had miscarriages. Some men got so dang mad they stormed out of the appointment.
It doesn't take much to set off one of his Brits, does it?
Well, I mean,
I always just answered yes.
oh, I think at this point it would cause you wouldn't get your you would not get your
They all knew me. So
X-ray.
They considered me.
and some guy was so mad that he had to have cancer. I mean, he had suspected cancer, and he was so angry at the question he left and didn't get his
Wow.
scan.
That's
It
not
ticked him off
Imagine.
bad. Yeah,
I imagine.
and some women who have had miscarriages have gotten very upset. I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say about it other than it's a big old
Well,
yikes.
it's, in today's society, let's just go with this for just a second.
Mhm.
They cannot necessarily consider whether you're male or female in a lot of situations.
I think
right?
that's part of the problem. Yeah.
And that's part of that woke up group of people that are still sleeping. They're in the 20-year sleep. They haven't woken up yet.
Seriously.
So that's creating. Well, wait a minute now. Are you just asking women that? Why are you discriminating against men? Why are you
And until a
saying women
man
are special?
has to go through labor, I don't even want to hear it. You know what I'm saying?
We do.
In your own way, yes.
Yeah, we do.
Hey, do you remember I sent you a story last week about the Secret Service, but at that time we weren't really too sure about the validity of the story because of the news
Which one?
agency. But this one, it has been validated. The U.S. Secret Service was forced to apologize to a Massachusetts salon owner after using her building's bathroom without permission ahead of a fundraiser for VP Harris. The salon owner, Alicia Powers, said Secret Service agents put duct tape over her security cameras and broke into her building by picking the lock. They then allowed various people to use the salon's bathroom over a 2-hour period. Now, it's not like you're already on the hot seat, Secret Service. Then you go do something as dumb as this. I mean, all right, you're former LEO. What do you think about it?
When you got to go, you got to go. But there's an alley somewhere, right?
Well, for the guys, it's much easier.
Oh.
Which,
Walk into a
but-
McDonald's? I
Yeah,
mean, seriously?
Yeah, get in a car, go down the road or something. And they were letting other people that were attending the rally, to use it too, public. I mean, like, what in the world? It's not like you're not already in the spotlight.
That sounds strange.
Well, this is now some of the big news organizations have picked it up. So
Well, I just say, I don't know. That'll be one for Congress to ask the acting director on it.
that was that salon owner. I'd get a little something out of this.
Yeah.
I'd say something was broken or missing.
Yeah. Well, then they put you through on a polygraph.
Yeah.
Then you're messed up. Then you
then you're in
lied to a
trouble.
federal agent. Then you're really in hot water.
You bust
I
my
just-
bubble.
I responded to your.
I saw it.
Okay.
Oh, I'm afraid to see what you
You didn't
responded.
see what he wrote?
Not sure
Oh, I
what.
saw it. That was me laughing a few
Okay.
minutes ago.
Y'all just don't know what Rayford does to us when because we can't talk about this on the air, but he sent us a private message. So I just
Oh,
responded
no.
back with a photo.
It was just everywhere.
Mhm.
Not sure why. Not sure why.
Sent a photo back.
Not
That
sure
was
why
good.
VP Harris is catching so much flack. A lot of folks are charging that is hypocrisy for requiring people attending her rally to cough up an ID now while fighting movements across the country to require voters to prove who they are when they go to the polls.
Wait, what?
That's
Yeah,
what I
she
say.
required people
What?
at her rally that were invitation only to not only have the invitation, but to have a photo ID, a government issued photo ID to prove who they were, to validate for that invitation that
Well,
they
first
have.
of all, my first question will be, how did people get the invitations?
Well,
it
I
was
don't
the
know.
first thing.
But
Invitation,
suppose you
yeah.
pass it off to somebody else.
That's what I'm
or
saying,
Your
yeah.
child grabs it or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, like how? But how did you get that invitation?
What
this like a
happens
donor
is-
list
that the
or-
vice president chose to invite you.
The first time you make a large donation, you're on that list.
That's the one.
Gotcha.
Forever.
Before her
Because-
Friday campaign rally in Minnesota last week, her staff sent out notices advising that only confirmed RSVPs will be admitted. And even with the RSVP, attendees will have to have a matching government issued photo ID before they could cross the threshold. God help if you've changed your name when you got married, but
Or your hair
original one,
color.
or your hair. Oh, well, that just goes without saying. Is that hypocritical? I don't think so. I don't think so. If the VP is sticking with the Democrats' fighting requirements that voters must present government issued IDs that match the information on the voter registration because they maintain that the requirement prevents some people from voting and that they claim violates the Constitution. That's what the VP is saying. There's two different situations here. There's not one constitutional right to attend her private rally. You agree? There's no constitutional right that you can go to Sam's and just go in their store and start buying stuff, right?
Correct.
You have to be a member.
Correct.
There's nothing anywhere that I or you or anyone else written anywhere has a legal right to go watch the vice president or anyone else perform. People are refused entry or they are kicked out of sporting events and concerts or from airports when they behave as those in charge want them to act. They refuse to do it right. Let's put it on a constitutional right versus a constitutional right issue. Those are the only two things you should compare. I have a right to vote. And in North Carolina, I have to provide ID, right?
Correct.
The Democrats don't like that. The Second Amendment of our Constitution says that I have the right to bear arms, right?
Right.
But there are federal and state requirements that not only do I have to produce an ID proving who I am, that I have to wait until a gun dealer makes sure that the federal and state governments say that it's okay if I have a gun before I can buy it. The newly elected governor of North Carolina, a friend of mine many years ago, called and wanted to know if the TV station where I was then the news director down in Wilmington wanted to interview him. I said, yeah, come on down. We set it up for the next day. In a couple hours, the receptionist called and said there was a man at the front desk who wanted to inspect our studio. Kind of an odd request.
Yes.
I went out to meet the guy. He was wearing jeans and a shirt, pretty casual attire, and under normal conditions, I would not have thought too much about it. I wouldn't have let him inspect the studio, but I wouldn't have thought too much about it. He explained that Governor Easley at the time was coming the next day and he needed to do a security check. Me? I said, okay. But first, how do you know Easley is scheduled the next day? And second, who are you? He hadn't produced any ID or anything else. Did I have a right to ask for it? Absolutely.
Sure.
He fumbled for a couple seconds, kind of laughed, snickered, then found his highway patrol ID. We both laughed, and I showed him around and showed him a secured entrance, gave him my cell number, and told him to call when he was 3 minutes out the next day. He had an ID, but I wasn't going to let him go anywhere until I knew who he was. Given the attempted assassination on former President Trump 1 month ago, it might be wise to know who everyone is coming into a secure area. No problem. Not a problem at all. Nothing at all related to the constitutional right of citizens to vote, but only if they meet the criteria, like being old enough and a citizen. As a responsible supporter of the Second Amendment, I realize there are people who should not be able to walk in off the street and buy a gun. We have laws that prevent these people from owning guns. We should enforce those laws and the ones that require that only legal citizens vote for our leaders. In her first TV interview in 2021, she was the vice president. Harris was talking about voter ID requirements. Her response back then was as weird as her comments about most anything 3 years later. She said, y'all listening?
I'm listening.
Yes.
I don't think that we should underestimate what that could mean. That's what she was talking about, voter ID laws, because in some people's mind, that means, well, you're going to have to Xerox or photocopy your ID to send it in to prove you are who you are. Well, there's a whole lot of people, she said, especially people who live in rural communities who don't. There's no Kinko's, there's no Office Max near them. People have to understand that when we're talking about voter ID laws, be clear about who you have in mind and what would be required of them to prove who they are. Her final line, of course, got a quote, we need to put this one on the wall. Of course, people have to prove who they are, but not in a way that makes it almost impossible for them to prove who they are.
But that's
The next president of the United States.
oh well. Yeah, well, okay.
When I hear Biden or
Explains
Harris
it.
speak publicly, I get the feeling that the FDA should routinely check the water at the White House. Maybe some stuff is in there that needs to be filtered out.
I just think she needs some serious lessons on public speaking.
Yeah, that's it.
That is like today is today and yesterday was yesterday and yesterday was the day after the day before. I mean, she does that a lot, and a lot is not necessarily those words, but other
Close to
things.
Well,
And it just drives me crazy.
But I think that will all be apparent on their first debate.
If they have one.
She's claiming they're
Oh
doing
yeah, Trump's
Where?
already agreed to 3 of them.
Yeah.
They've already agreed to 3. They set the dates. ABC News does no.
If
Fox is
I'll
next.
believe it when I see it.
Fox is next, and then I don't remember the second one. Was it CNN? And the third one's ABC.
Well,
Something like that.
One of them will be very close to the election where she will be
Right.
prompted and shine. Let's take a break. You're live and local Real Talk. It's going to be an extended break, y'all, so get ready. You're live and local Real Talk, Freedom 97.1. WSME.
Whoa.
Phew, okay, we just talked so
Excuse
long.
me.
I talked so long the last kind of segments that we had there. We had to do 2 breaks in a row, so we're now caught up.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of rereading a little bit of this stuff that was posted earlier from that Harris had to say in her news interview back in 2021, right after she took office. Of course, people have to prove who they are, but not in a way that makes it almost impossible for them to prove who they are.
See, that's what I'm saying. Yesterday was yesterday. Today is today.
I'm just not understanding. Somebody has got, I mean, it's like Biden, somebody needs to tell him what to say and when to say it and when not to say it and when to shut up. And I think they've pretty well done that now. Trump, I think somebody has gotten a better hand this go round.
Trump's biggest problem is making statements and meaning them sarcastically, but not saying them in such a way that you understand he's being sarcastic. And that's gotten him in a lot of trouble too.
I hope you guys understand when I'm being sarcastic. I'm being sarcastic. I make no bones about it.
Right. No, you don't.
Okay. Like filtering the water at the White House because there's something in there.
Right.
That is sarcasm.
Right.
And I assume that everybody knows that. So,
And of course, Trump has the propensity, we know that, to always make off the cuff remarks.
well, me too, but I'm not running for president.
Right. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying is I'm just like,
All right, let's take a quick break. This one's
Quick
only 60 seconds,
fox.
y'all. So you don't even have time to get up and make a head call unless you're really fast. You're live and local, real talk. Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSMA. Fox News is now. Yeah, and do not adjust your set during the commercial breaks. If you're watching on Facebook and YouTube,
What'd I do?
y'all don't have to worry about it. Do not adjust your set. Everything is fine. You just don't hear the commercials right now.
Oh, that's right.
We're working. I can make them go back. I can put them back there right away. And I guess I'm just going to have to do that because I've tried to work around all weekend long trying to figure a way to do it. I'll just make it back like it was. I might do that during the next break just
I think
just to wake y'all up.
yes, because some go and they don't hear anything. They think something's wrong.
Yeah,
and
they
sign off.
tune
so.
away and go somewhere else. Friday, when a fire truck here in Onslow County rolled onto its side while responding to a wreck call, the unit from the 9 Mile Fire Department slid down an embankment on Gurganus Road. Investigators say the wreck could have been weather related. I mean, the weather that we had last week, probably. Everything that happened around here was weather related. Catching up a little bit, you recall the crash of that V-22 Osprey aircraft a year ago in Australia?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. In what investigators are describing as a near collision, the Osprey lost control and crashed, killing both pilots, 29-year-old Captain Eleanor V. LeBeau and 37-year-old Major Tobin J. Lewis, a crew member on board. The chief, 21-year-old Corporal Spencer R. Kolar, was killed as he, according to the investigating report, heroically re-entered the burning cockpit of the aircraft in an attempt to rescue the trapped pilots. He was alive when they crashed, but he went back into the burning aircraft trying to get the pilots out.
Wow.
This was one of the 4 fatal crashes involving Ospreys in the past 2 years. The entire V-22 operation is under congressional scrutiny right now. The Australia disaster exposed significant safety issues within the squadron. Okay, here we go. Investigators recommended punitive actions, including potential court-martial charges for one senior squadron member and potential administrative actions against the squadron's former commanding officer, who they said, their words, permitted a culture that disregarded safety of flight procedures. We'll explain.
Okay, do explain,
A
because
senior maintenance officer was found to be in violation of the Uniform Code of Military Justice for dereliction of duty and for falsely generating and signing a form detailing the aircraft's weight and loads after the crash. The aircraft commander for the downed Osprey was required to have reviewed that information prior to the flight. Investigators recommended the maintenance officer face administrative or judicial procedures. The Osprey may have been overloaded when it crashed, as was the case in 2 earlier near crashes involving the same Hawaii-based Osprey unit. Given the seriousness of the safety violations, they say, investigators have also recommended all Marine Corps Osprey squadrons schedule a temporary pause in flight operations known as stand down to review the accident. That may have already occurred. I'm not
Right.
sure the timing of all of these reports.
right.
It's the second recent Marine Corps Osprey mishap where critical flight data and voice data were lost because the recorder was destroyed by the post-crash fire. I thought those black boxes were indestructible.
I thought so too. Aren't they fireproof?
After a 2022 Osprey crash in California that killed 5 Marines, investigators recommended that all Marine Corps Osprey flight data recorders be replaced with a version that was resistant to high temperatures and fire and would survive a crash. I guess this one had not been done.
That's very interesting.
They had reports of several Ospreys being overloaded, had too much stuff on them. These are routine training flights that they're involved in,
But
right?
I was just training flights. Why would they be loading equipment on
Well,
them?
they do put stuff up and they do take it from point A to point B. They do these kinds of things. And apparently the aircraft had to do some maneuvers to avoid a mid-air collision. That's what it looked like.
Wasn't
Now,
this the
we-
one though where there was a heavy fog or something?
I don't know which one it was, but either way, if they have to avoid a collision, they got radar on board. If they have to avoid a collision and suddenly make maneuvers,
Right.
then stuff can shift, especially if
True.
they're overloaded, and you can lose control of anything like that. You do it on a boat. I'm assuming that an aircraft is even worse.
Oof.
So I don't know. I don't fly. I fly, but I don't drive the airplane. I know nothing about them except that I'm supposed to sit there in
Yeah.
a seat and shut up. And that's pretty much what they tell you.
Oh, and then the Brazil plane crash.
61 or 62.
62.
62 to begin with. 61, the later reports had like 50. That's a plane that would hold 58 passengers and 4 crew members, I believe.
So they were full then.
Yeah, they were filled up. And not the first plane that's crashed over the last year or two. Same configuration airplane. Don't know what's going on there.
Right.
And did you
Mm.
see it tumbling? That's
Yes,
the
they
weirdest thing.
showed a video of it.
It was going round and round and falling straight down.
Yes.
Well, you generally think if a plane is running out of fuel or a plane has an on-air engines shut down or whatever, there's sort of a glide thing that they're dealing with fixed wing stuff. This one went straight to the ground, not straight, but it was going around. It nosedived. So
Right.
you would think maybe, well, if it was an intentional act or whatever, they just put it into a nosedive. They had one, the same aircraft, and recently, the last year or so, that apparently stalled. I don't know. The stalling of airplanes that I'm familiar with, you and you take off. I mean, as you nose up and start going up, and then it stalls out on you. But
That
those that I've seen do that intentionally so they could pull out and show you how it could be done for training purposes, they would be coming straight back down, and then they would pull the nose back up so they could restart the engines and take off, continue flying. But
you
this
know,
one's, I don't know if this one stalled first or not, but I saw the video and it was
I
spiraling
saw
coming
the
straight
video
down.
too. It was creepy, and
Nobody on
just
the ground got hurt. Luckily.
no, luckily, and it crashed in a neighborhood too. I think one house got some
Some fire damage. I saw that.
damage from it, from debris and stuff. But
Don't,
it's crazy how there's always somebody with a camera somewhere,
well, there
you
are
know that?
those.
and that captured it on video coming down out of the sky.
Well, everybody's got a phone these days, so they use
Yes.
those as cameras, I guess. That brings up a funny point to me. Way back when, in the days of Bigfoot
And Bigfoot?
and Bigfoot. Remember Bigfoot
Yes, I do.
and all the sightings that they
Yes,
had
all
of
the
Bigfoot,
sightings.
and nary a picture except doctored images that were shot from 50 miles away.
Footprints in the mud.
Yeah, stuff like that. But today, I haven't seen any good pictures of Bigfoot. Have you? With phone, everybody's got a phone with a camera on it.
Yeah,
But with
that's
all this stuff
interesting. Good
running-
point.
How about UFOs that everybody said were coming down and landing
Let's-
beside them and going?
let's
Oh
see.
God, I wish I'd had a camera.
See if there's
well-
anything on Bigfoot lately.
But I mean, you just don't see this stuff anymore now that there are irrefutable evidence-taking devices, the cell phones,
Oh.
available to everybody, and everybody's got one. So you just don't see it anymore, do you?
Oh, here's Bigfoot sighting alleged in resurfaced nature documentary.
Resurfaced nature.
Yes,
documentary.
Bigfoot seems to appear in documentary from 20 years ago.
Yeah, disregard all of
Bigfoot
the
sighting uncovered in newly unearthed documentary
Uh-huh.
footage. Oh, here's one from the history website. Bigfoot was investigated by the FBI.
Oh no.
Bigfoot researchers sent the FBI some hair samples for testing.
Oh well, that's not being
The
investigated.
FBI concluded that the hair was of the deer family.
So they found some deer hair floating around.
And
They were in the woods
Oh.
camping, and they were stoned, and they found some, and they saw Bigfoot, and it was Bambi.
they
That's what it is.
declassified its file in 2019.
Oh, bless their hearts.
They're busy with the Secret Service now. They don't have time for Bigfoot.
Last week, we heard from Peter Wright, our Medicare insurance expert, that our fears were definitely coming
Yes.
true. Medicare recipients will be paying more for less coverage next year. Premiums are increasing. The amount of benefits we get for the higher premiums will be decreasing. Think about the current administration for a moment. The Biden administration wants to make some of the millions of illegal immigrants in this country eligible for free Obamacare coverage. Where do you think they're going to get the money for that? It's called from Social Security, Medicare. A rule
So-
published in May would allow illegal immigrants who came as children and are protected from deportation via the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, also known as DACA program, to be eligible for health care through the Affordable Care Act. Why?
Tell me.
Why? Because they came here as illegals, as children.
Yes.
We allow them to stay.
Yes.
That doesn't mean they're citizens.
And we gave him medical.
And we gave them this, and we gave them that, and we gave them this, and now we're going to give them insurance. Why? Are they
Good question. I've had to pay for mine all my life.
Currently, all illegal immigrants are prohibited from accessing this program. The administration said it predicts that the rule, which would go into effect in November, would result in over 100,000 uninsured illegal immigrants being allowed to access insurance. At whose expense?
That's right.
And I get fewer benefits and
That's
pay
right.
more for those fewer benefits beginning this year.
Exactly. Well, you better get as much as you can done this year.
They won't have to pay a dime. Somebody's going to pay. And if you'll run to the bathroom right now, real fast, I
What?
can tell you who it's going to be. That guy in the mirror.
Yes, you're right.
A coalition of Republican states is suing the Biden administration to prevent this from happening. Biden doesn't care whether they sue. He's a lame duck and there's no skin off his nose. 15 states, led by Kansas Attorney General Chris Kobach, claimed that the regulation violates federal law that bars giving benefits to illegal immigrants and violates the act itself. Obamacare, as passed by Congress, limits eligibility to citizens or nationals of the U.S. and those lawfully present. That's where the little cinch is going to be. They're here, lawfully here, because we made them that way. Safeguards on original bills, once they became law, mean absolutely nothing. The restrictions are simply ignored. That's the reason that what some call hard-headed legislators put up such a stink when such bills are up for approval. Those hard-headed legislators know full well that they can't trust future legislators. So true, so often, inch by inch, anything is a cinch. That's what's happening in our government.
Well, here's something that's new, and I will give kudos to the Biden administration if they can do this. But the Biden administration unveiled new rules in efforts targeting consumer annoyances, ranging from hard to cancel subscriptions, cumbersome insurance forms, and not being able to get a live customer service agent on the phone.
You get them, but they don't speak English.
The Time is Money initiative is aimed at cracking down on the endless hold times or deliberately complicated procedures that cost consumers. And you know what? It's just like it shouldn't take 45 minutes to cancel a subscription. You should be, if you can click it to order it, you should be able to click it to cancel it.
I'm not going to pay you. I don't cancel it every time.
That's like when I canceled my prior security alarm service, it was a nightmare. It was constant. I
Really?
said, no, I just want to cancel it. And then they would go into, well, what if we da-da-da-da-da?
No.
No, I just want to cancel it. Well, let me tell you about, I go, no, do you not understand? I want to cancel. It took 20 minutes
Nope.
for them to cancel it because they kept trying to upgrade it and sell me for a lesser price. And it went on and on and on. And that's the
That's-
same thing with cable.
See, you're a nice person.
Yeah, I try to be.
I when it gets down to that point, when I've said no for number 3, that's 3 strikes.
Right.
Right? That's 3 strikes. Then I get vulgar.
Oh, well, you know, I try not to.
Oh, I don't
mean,
try not to.
I have
They
been
push me into it. and it's
pushed to
easy.
the extremes
Sorry, y'all.
before. But
I'm
I'm
going
a
to talk about your mama when you get down to that point.
no.
You betcha believe
It is irritating, and if this is something that I mean, I don't know how you're going to solve it, but I mean, it's just like the do not call phone list.
Oh,
You
that's
see
the-
how well
That's
that's
the biggest
worked.
boondoggle, stupid
Yes.
thing, waste of money there
Yes.
ever was.
I mean,
But
all your
nobody enforced it.
scammers and spammers got around that by cloning telephone numbers.
I mean, I cloned one apparently in the UK last week.
You had the senator upset. He was just on a roll.
Yeah, one day I'll have to explain it to him.
And I hope those listening that think that Project 2025 is all Trump's, I hope they heard what that senator had to
If you
say.
don't, you need to go back to last
Gee
whatever day it was we had
whiz.
him on.
I thought maybe I shouldn't have brought it up.
No, I think you did good.
No, but the senator was, he was, and
It was forthright.
yes.
Let's go ahead and take a break. Then we'll do a little bit of weather, and then we'll be back on the other side again, y'all.
Right. Yes, we'll be here. Oh,
This will be about 8:20 when we get back and do a little bit of weather.
Yes.
So go ahead and send an email.
right.
Send it to LeeCBarrows@gmail.
right.
LEEC Barrows BARROWS @gmail.com. Or you can send it to our Facebook page, our Facebook Messenger,
Right.
and say, "Hey, y'all, my name is. My
Call me
telephone number
at-"
is. Please call me, and I will. You will get a call from a number or from the UK or from something that says restricted. I don't know what it will show up as today. It could come from Russia, but it's me. I get
Yeah.
around a lot.
Don't give up on us.
We-
Just a
we'll
little
be
bit
here.
of phone
And we're
troubles.
going to get all our phones back in order one of these days. When all the equipment comes here and we stop all the lightning, I got to put up some lightning rods, I guess. Phew.
Well, with all the antennas you have out there, you're a lightning magnet.
Yeah, but
over
they
here.
go to ground. I don't have to worry about that. This is the stuff that comes in the power line.
I know if it ever starts lightning, you do not stand in your backyard because you're
You
going
know,
to
the
get
funny
hit.
thing was we had TV, not funny, but we didn't wait for the power to go out to turn the generator on. First of
Right.
all, it would start automatically if the power went out. But if there was a thunderstorm in the area, the immediate area, we switched over to our generator, emergency power. Why? Because the lightning will not come in the power line because there is no power line coming into the building then. It stops outside the building.
Oh, okay.
So we
I
switched
see.
over to generator. I'm just thinking if next time there's a now I'd be starting it all the time. You're live in local real talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. Weather is next.
Trying to get the right mic up here. Anyway, today's marine forecast is brought to you by Community Prevention Services. You hear us talk about one of the deadliest problems we have across this country. It's not car wrecks, not murders, not boating disasters, not even tornadoes or hurricanes or landslides of wildfires. The threat of World War II saw an average and the number of Americans who die from various opioid overdoses every year, more than 11,000 in the 12 months ending in the 1st of July. So many people who have prescribed pain pills as a matter of routine visits to doctors, dentists, and even pain management clinics get a rude awakening a few years back when the clamor for more controls on getting pain meds made it more difficult for patients who became dependent on those happy pills to satisfy when they found out it was an addiction. Might not have been a physical addiction, but psychological addiction can be just as bad. Thank goodness Hotel is still producing opioids, including cheap and powerful ones, products that don't require prescription. What may have started as a psychological dependency became a full-blown epidemic. Community Prevention Services is not a chain operation, it's a locally owned and locally operated. Give them a call. I'm trying to read it. Stuff here. Okay. Some of your stuff's skipped. Give them a call for an appointment at 910-353-0972. You'll be happy that you did. You want to take them now? Sure. Right up here is just you got to do the offshore.
Okay, I can do that.
Why is everything so loud here?
Once I turn the mic up, I can.
Okay. Yeah.
Which one did you have up?
I had up, well, I don't know. Everything was just like, I couldn't figure out which mic was yours. Was it the yellow one?
No.
The other one?
So you didn't do any of it.
No.
Okay, well, anyway, we're caught up. We're going to get caught up here.
Yeah,
How's
it's
that?
been a while since Lee's been on the
Yeah,
board.
The Marine Forecast brought to you by Community Prevention Services. You've heard us talk about one of the deadliest problems we have across this country, right? It's
Right.
not car wrecks, not murders, not boating disasters, not even tornadoes or hurricanes or landslides or wildfires. 3.5 years of World War II,
Thank
an
you.
average of fewer deaths each year than the number of Americans who die today from various opioid overdoses every year in this country. More than 111,000 in the 12 months ending the 1st of July. So many people who were prescribed pain pills as a matter of routine visits to doctors, dentists, and even pain management clinics got a rude awakening a couple of years back when the clamor for more controls on getting pain meds made it more difficult for patients who had become dependent on those happy pills to satisfy what they quickly found out was an addiction. Might not have been a physical addiction, but a psychological addiction can be just as bad. Thank goodness that Big Pharma cartel is still making sure that they can get their drugs. They're producing opioids, synthetic ones, including cheap, powerful ones, products that don't require you to get a prescription even. What may have started as a psychological dependency has become a full-blown epidemic. What the legitimate pharmaceutical companies provided were medically safe drugs. Nothing like the pills that look just exactly like the ones you find in the drugstores. Laced with fentanyl, available everywhere, even when that's not what you're looking for. In addition to being lethal, there's those side effects. Paranoia, that's one of them.
Yeah.
And that's not something that you can shake by yourself as long as the need for drugs is still there. That's where Community Prevention Services comes into play. The staff of trained, experienced, and just as importantly, caring staff of counselors they have on their staff are available for you, a friend, a member of your family. They're not judgmental, and whatever you tell them stays with them. They'll work with you to develop a treatment plan, not like the treatment plans that involve taking pills. Taking drugs to subdue your need for drugs is pretty ridiculous. Community Prevention Service is not a chain operation, locally owned, locally operated. They're on Henderson Drive, 918. Give them a call for an appointment, 910-353-0972. You'll be happy you did. Offshore, Westerly winds 5 to 10 knots, becoming southwesterly this afternoon, 2 to 3 footers. That's nice. 3-foot waves
Yes.
every 8 seconds. Not a bad day after the past 10 days we've been through. Sounds and rivers a light chop, diminishing to flat this afternoon. Northeasterly winds tomorrow and Wednesday, seas 2 to 3 feet. Tomorrow and Wednesday, sounds and rivers. Tomorrow and Wednesday, only a light chop.
Okay, and today is early morning fog with showers and thunderstorms likely this afternoon. Partly sunny with a high near 86. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms are likely, mostly cloudy with a low around 71. Tuesday, a chance of showers and thunderstorms late in the afternoon, mostly sunny with a high near 87. And Wednesday, a chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms, mostly sunny with a high near 86. Like the temperatures.
Yeah.
And we do have a flood warning until 1 p.m. today
Where?
here in Jacksonville. Flood warning, they're covering it all. Where? Okay. What? Minor flooding is occurring. Where? New River at Gump Ranch. When? Until further notice. Impacts of 14.0 feet. Water threatens homes at the end of Forest Bluff Drive. Minor farmland flooding along the river. Now that's where we had flooding before.
Mhm.
Over there, and that's off of additional details at 9:45 a.m. Sunday. The stage 15 feet. Recent activity. The maximum river stage in the 24 hours ending at 9:45 a.m. on Sunday was at 16.6 feet. Forecast, no forecast is available for this location. Flood stage is at 14 feet, and you can go to www.weather.gov/safety/flood. But yeah, they are issuing a flood warning.
73
that area.
degrees here at the studio right now, 99% relative humidity.
Yeah,
Just a very
yes.
light breeze of a couple of miles per hour. And it feels like 82.
I'll take 82 any day over the 110 that we've
Yeah.
had.
We did have some of that a
Oh
week or
my
two ago, didn't we?
gosh, yeah. So
All right,
it's
let's go
horrible.
back over there to Hezbollah, a group of individuals,
Mhm.
terrorists by any other name. They sent 30 rockets from Lebanon into northern Israel early Monday. Nobody got hurt. According to the Israeli Defense Forces, anyway, that's what they said. Sirens are going off, sounding the alert. The Israelis, headed for shelters.
Right.
They took shelter.
Phew.
30 projectiles identified crossing from Lebanon toward the area of Kabri. A number of those fell in open areas. No injuries were reported. First of all, I'm surprised that the source, which they track their source, where they came from. I'm surprised there's not a hole in the ground where they came from.
I'm surprised too.
Israel has been known to return fire. I mean, we have returned fire. I don't know that we have the brass to do it anymore, but we have returned fire. And, we did leave holes in the ground. Cool.
I'm surprised it hasn't just erupted like crazy.
I think this is just a plan, a scare tactic, and to get people ready, to scare them some more, send them to who knows where. Maybe Hezbollah is working on putting enough pressure with rockets streaming down on innocent civilians. Maybe they just want to scare Israel to concede and have a ceasefire, to concede whatever they want Israel to concede.
I know.
You got Hezbollah to the north. You got Hamas down. You've got to the west. You've got Israel's got a problem on their hands.
Yes, they do.
And they don't have a lot of friends.
No.
And they're getting fewer and fewer friends in this country. There are so many people who are anti-Semitic. It's just ridiculous. And a lot of them are politicians. And that's becoming more and more apparent.
Yes.
That's the reason that Harris did not choose Shapiro, because he's
Jewish.
yes.
Yes.
She
And-
backed out of that because that was going to be the obvious choice.
Yeah, I really did. I was pretty confident that the suit, and that's what I kept saying, it's going to be Shapiro.
Yep.
But there's just so much. She made a better decision by not picking him. But when does that stop being a prejudicial motivator? When you say, "I'm not going to hire you because of your religion."
Do you remember? You don't remember? I do. During the Kennedy campaigning years, I remember it was discussed in my household. He's Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to in the White House?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Do
Do
you
we
want a
want-
Jewish and a
Do we,
Jew in the
do we
White
want a
House?
Jew as the vice president? Is that what we want? Come on.
And these are by the people who are putting the DEI out there,
Yeah.
and shoving it down our throats.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I can remember one time, many, 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 many years ago, not getting a job because they needed to hire a person of color. And
Yeah.
so,
Yep.
and I'm thinking, well, I can do the job. I'm fully capable. No, we're sorry. We need to, because we need to get
We
our
have a
numbers
quota.
up. We have a quota. That's
In-
not right
in
to
the
them.
broadcast industry,
That's right.
you're not going to believe the requirements that the Federal Communications Commission had
Mhm.
set down from headquarters.
Well, that's what gets me. It's not fair to me, and it's not fair to the person that they say they have to hire. It's
Mhm.
not fair to either one of us. I think
Can you
that
imagine being the person? There are two of you up for the job, and one of you is a whatever the requirement that you hired these days is about meets half the qualifications, and no experience, and you've got this other person over there can work for the same amount of money, and has got all of the qualifications, got a great record in school, got everything that's needed. How do you tell a person like that no?
I
I had
think
to.
it's hard. The best person for the job, that's who should be hired.
Yeah.
Not the person who meets a quota, or not the person that you'd rather have that skin color over that skin. I mean, it just makes me crazy.
Mhm.
And now we've got DEI being shoved down our throats all the time. And when are we going to stop? Because to me, this just keeps it going.
Yeah, it does.
It's ridiculous.
Okay, I don't know. Israel is gearing up for the big one. I
think
don't know
yes.
how Hezbollah can even claim any fame as being anything of any consequence. They fired 30 rockets, not 30 bullets from an M16. They fired 30, or an AK-47 in their case. They fired 30 rockets, and they don't hurt anybody.
Right.
That's not saying a whole lot about their
No,
efficiency. Where are they getting the
no.
rockets?
Well,
Where's Hezbollah? It's a terrorist organization. It's not a country. Where are they getting the money to buy the rockets to waste them?
I really expected all this to have broken out a lot sooner. And like you say, Israel's just sitting back.
I don't think they're just sitting back. They're waiting, and they're going to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Preemptive strikes are what's needed, of course. But they went out and took out some individuals, but they were specific targets, and of course some of them happened to be in Tehran. I can't imagine being a terrorist, a well-known terrorist, and announcing that I'm going to watch the new president get sworn in Iran. I can't
No
imagine
thanks.
that, and telling everybody that I was going to do it and
No
expect
thanks.
that I was going to live. No, that was just dumb on his part.
Well, bringing it back to the United States, bringing it back home. 10 years ago, the fatal shooting of Michael Brown. Do you remember all that
I
in
remember very
Ferguson?
well. No relation.
Well, a police officer in Ferguson, Missouri is fighting for his life this weekend after being assaulted during protests marking the 10th anniversary of the fatal shooting of Michael Brown. The incident took place Friday night outside the Ferguson Police Department after a demonstration commemorating Brown's death turned destructive, according to Police Chief Troy Doyle. Officer Travis Brown and other officers began attempting to make arrests in response to protesters damaging a fence outside of police station. Okay, vandalism. They're trying to arrest. A protester charged Officer Brown when he attempted to make an arrest, causing him to fall and hit his head and leaving him with a severe brain injury.
Mm.
Protesters hurt 2 other officers, leaving one with an ankle injury and another one with abrasions. All right, what are we protesting?
We're celebrating the protests and the riots that occurred after Michael Brown, a thug who had already robbed, strong arm robbery, a guy just earlier at a store, walking down the street and then turning on an officer and punching the officer who was sitting in his patrol car when he told him to get out of the middle of the road.
Right. Right. And so.
And then he fired on this thug when this thug got down in a crouching stance and was going to charge him. And then he got shot and he died.
Yes.
And this thug outweighed this officer 2-1 or whatever it was.
He was a
huge
big
difference.
boy. He was a big boy.
So no, I got zero problems with that guy dying at that time under those conditions, and it was self-defense. I had zero problem.
He physically assaulted the officer, and during a struggle between the two,
Tried to
he
get his gun.
reached for the officer's gun. One shot was fired in the car, followed by others outside of the car.
What do you think was going to happen if he had gotten that gun?
And this wasn't this the start of the defund the police?
Yes. That was the beginning of
But let's go out and protest and vandalize and injure people.
and critically injure another cop.
Yes. Traumatic brain injury. Now, what point are you making in all of this? If you're out there
I was
peacefully
stupid then, I are
protesting,
stupid today.
if you're out there peacefully protesting and you're commemorating, I don't call it a celebration, the anniversary of the death of Michael Brown, I mean, wouldn't you rather just have everyone come together?
Yeah.
You
You would.
know, but no, you're out there protesting, you're vandalizing, and you're hurting people.
You're being the fool.
Yeah. Well, let's see what the new defund the police has to say about this.
All right, let's take a break. You're live in local Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME. When we come back, we'll call you. You don't have to call us. Just give us your number. Lee C. Barrows at gmail.com or Facebook Messenger. Tell us your name, tell us your telephone number, and I'll call you. You're live in local Real Talk. We'll be right back. Does the vice president, the lady who has got the nomination for the Democrat Party to be their candidate in the election this year, does she have a responsibility to have a news conference to address issues that the media want addressed? Does she have any kind of responsibility for that?
Well, it depends.
She doesn't think so.
If I was somebody's campaign strategist or campaign
I
advisor,
didn't mention the campaign
I
stuff.
know, but she's not going to come out even as VP right now if it means she's going to get caught up in something.
She's going to get caught up in something. 'Cause, I mean,
But-
she's right smack dab in the middle of it with all the stuff that's going on in the world today. I mean, we're on the
Yes.
brink of war that we're going to be dragged into. What does she think? What we have a right to know how she would act.
Of course we do, but that's
We've got a
she's not
southern
gonna
border,
tell
and
us.
that's a boondoggle all the way around, quagmire for her.
But
in a
she
heartbeat.
was not the czar.
I know she wasn't. That's what she said. She said nobody ever
Yeah.
gave her that title
She
except
said,
the
"I wasn't
media.
the
Well,
czar."
whatever. A czar is a czar is a czar. But what if I thought it was a Russian term anyway, which it used to be? I never understood why anybody was called a czar in this country. But why isn't she coming out? It's 22 days now, 22 days as of today, since she held a news conference
Well, you know,
or a
once
sit down
again,
interview, one-on-one.
well, she's not going to have that yet. I tell you when it's going to happen after the first debate. Then you'll see something. But until then, she's going to stay away from all that where she could absolutely put her foot in her mouth.
Here's the problem that the people who are going to be voting early have. They're not getting the full story. They're only getting what MSNBC, CNBC, and NBC, CBS, and ABC, let's say MSNBC, and CNN, and Fox News. They want you to hear. That's all they're going to
Right.
we're going to get, because she's not doing anything. She's not saying anything. Her vice presidential pick, he's getting all the press. He's talking. He's doing whatever. I mean, his whole life is unveiled. But he's not running. He's not the presidential candidate. He's a just in case guy, in case, the president kicks off.
Well, right now it's I understand
This is
completely
a
what you're saying,
disservice.
but I still think that she's not gonna do it. She didn't have pressers as a vice president.
I know that, but right now she needs. I mean, we've got a missing in action president,
Well, we
And
know
she-
that,
and she's not even picking up that slack.
right?
So who is in charge right now? Who's pulling the strings? Who's making the decisions?
Well, you know, the funniest thing that's erupted lately here is each one of them accusing the other of using AI generated Photoshop photos depicting that they have a huge crowd at the rallies. That's been going back and forth now.
Good.
You know, I mean, really?
If that's the best you can do, whatever. Get over it. Let's find out. I need to feel some guts here. I want to know what's going on. I need some
Well-
substance coming from both of these individuals, not from their VP candidates. I don't care about either one of them, to be honest with you. I mean, we got doofus brain on one side claiming this, and then we do have a Marine veteran who's maintaining his dignity, come saying other things, but he is also stooping to some of the same stupid levels. You don't need to be down there. What can you do for me? What can the presidential nominee do for me?
Right.
Your
right.
party's candidate.
I mean-
what can your guy do for me? That's all I want to know.
We're so late in this game right now.
Yeah, we're behind.
They
the
need to
eight ball.
come out, and they need to come out swinging. We're so late in it, especially on Kamala's side. I mean, there for the longest time, we all thought it was going to be Joe Biden until the Democrats forced him out.
Well, he would have just been a joke and laughing stock, and Trump didn't even have to say anything in that case.
Well,
So it was just a one and done.
I'll tell you what, I think we should have a watch party for the first debate. but
All right.
it's going to be interesting.
Last break here. You live and local Real Talk Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM WSME. We'll be right back. Okay, thank you. We're back. And real quick recap here on the potential tropical cyclone number 5. It is moving westward and is zipping right along, almost 30 miles an hour. That's unheard of. It has not formed up into anything yet. Trying to, it's looking like it might, and it should be turning towards first the west northwest, then towards the northwest, and then we'll will eventually develop into a tropical storm, according to the National Hurricane Center. Can impact some parts of the area, like Puerto Rico, as a tropical
Yes.
storm. After it gets north of Puerto Rico and the land masses, it will be going north. It should become a hurricane, and it will be headed towards Bermuda, unfortunately. If it goes straight to Bermuda, it could be lots of warm water between point A and point B, and that could be an issue for Bermuda.
Right.
And with any luck at all, it will continue turning towards the north and then to the northeast, northeast, and then to the northeast. And if that's the case, it could pass to the right or to the west, or to the east
Yes.
of Bermuda, which would be the best case scenario for Bermuda. That's about
Yeah.
it right there. Not-
Projections at this time
Mhm.
show it staying offshore, just going north through the ocean waters.
Yeah,
So, but
it's not going to bother us.
No.
But I'm looking at Bermuda and Puerto Rico, but tropical storm in Puerto Rico. It doesn't take much rain to create a problem in Puerto
you
Rico.
know, I learned after this last one, I'm just going to wait till the day before because that one was even had so many meteorologists
Hey,
confused
well, yeah, but if it listened to
as
the
to
one,
what it was going to do.
came pretty close to where they originally said.
Right. You know, tomorrow we have a special guest in
Uh-huh.
the studio. We have a Jarek Vernon with Eastern Carolina Human Services Agency. They're having a community community outreach on Friday the 16th from 11 to 2 p.m. At 237 New River Drive, which is, I believe that's where the homeless shelter is, or the soup kitchen or something like that. But it's 3 hours, but they are going to have resources from Onslow, New Hanover, and Duplin counties coming to share information, free school supplies, free haircuts, free clothes and shoes, and a free raffle.
I need a haircut.
Yes, they do this every year. So Jarrett Vernon is going to be in the studio tomorrow to tell us all about it. So very interesting. So I hope everyone's listening. They'll be in about 7:30, the group, to talk about it. So.
All right, sounds good. Then on Wednesday, we have Dr. Rose in the house.
Yes.
So I don't think we have anything else scheduled for Wednesday as yet. We're
No.
working on
Yeah,
it.
we have. Well, you know, last week I had just about every day scheduled, but then with the storm coming, I had people, you know, saying, "Can I just change it to another day?" Because nobody knew exactly what was going to happen, and
No,
of course, you
It's
saw
pretty
the
good.
rain we got, and it caused a lot of issues. Did you see section of Highway 53 going up to Maple Hill?
yeah,
Ooh.
again.
It was bad. It was just really flooded. So, and people driving through it. What is wrong with people? I saw so many posts on Facebook with vehicles stranded in the water, and I'm just
Yes,
like,
it is.
why
Yes,
do
it
you
is.
do it? Why?
I'll
Stay
tell
home.
you, y'all need to go out and have a good rest of your day.
Yes.
You know, go ahead and pay attention to your radios, your weather radios. Should not be any overly severe, critical type of storms, but there's always the chance for a severe thunderstorm. Now, here's why that's critical. A severe thunderstorm can produce tornadoes. That's what the Weather Service will constantly put out over the radio of the NOAA weather radios.
Right.
That's the reason they put them out, is so you'll be aware. Okay, it's not just some rain and some lightning and thunder. There's this time of year, in particular, when you've got systems that are converging together. I don't know anything about them, but they tell me when this stuff starts converging and getting out there, sudden temperature changes, it can produce tornadoes. So I know we had a few last week.
Yes, we
and
did. Yes, we
We
did.
need to keep our eyes open.
We had 3 in Onslow County. We had warnings for
Yeah.
whether they ever became a tornado, but they were.
Well, there were warnings about
Yes.
possibility of developing into a tornado, or tornadoes that were up in the sky that
Right.
that did not touch down. I tell you, we'll see you tomorrow morning. Y'all have a great rest of your day, and hopefully we'll have our phones operating here soon, so you can get some just random
Yeah.
routine calls.
I learned the buttons over again. You know, we're good.
There you go. You're live and local, Real Talk Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We got Fox News coming up. And then at 10 o'clock, another dose of the Daily D's with Rick D's at 3 o'clock. It's the one, the only, it's Chris Hollywood Man in the house. Have a great rest of your day. See you in the morning.